So thank you very much, and especially thank you, Janice, for the ad hoc presentation, and actually the best introduction to the roadmap I could have had. So the idea of having the roadmap is, what is it if you start from scratch with a white sheet of paper and you have, as a regional policymaker, you put your mind on developing and implementing personalized medicine. What is it that you need to do then? So what is a roadmap? So it is drawing the strategic plan that will lead you through the whole process to achieve a number of goals. So it's based on a strategic thinking, and it should have a strong plan to develop to reach the goals. It should also then put forward the milestones and the goals you want to reach over time. So we also think that it should be quite high-level document that addresses the decision makers, the policy makers, stakeholders at large, and also in fact should reach the broad public. Why we call this a modular roadmap? That is because in all the regions that we saw in Europe, they all have different development stage, different needs, different ambitions, different capacities. So, and that is what we wanted to reach with this modular roadmap. Now, from the work of SAPHIRE, what we realized during this work, these years that we were doing the work, is that there's really a disconnect between the different stakeholders from academia, industry, people from the healthcare environment, but also the regional policy and national authorities and policymakers. They don't always know each other. They also don't know all the goals that should be reached. There's a language that is different. If you have a scientific expert talking to a decision maker, policy maker, you need to understand each other better. The industry also has its own language. You have to bring them all together. And all those different partners, they also have different strategies, and you all have to bring that together. So that was an observation that we saw, that actually this is a really big need to develop a common language and bring people together. What we also realized that in Europe, there are no two countries organized in the same manner. So the distribution of the policy domains in every country is different. The way regions and national levels are organized is also different. And the NUTS levels, the different NUTS levels, do not always correspond to the same authority levels. So these are the things that have to be taken into account. And just to give you an idea, this figure, so on the colored part, you see what is NUTS 1 level. If you go to NUTS 2 level, you see that there's already much more organization involved. And then NUTS 3 level is even more fragmented. So this is just to give you an idea. So when we were doing the work in SAPHIRE to try to get an overview of, when we were trying to get an overview of what is ongoing in regions in Europe, we had to deal with those different levels, because you want to try to compare a number of things. So this is part of the challenges we had. So coming back to the roadmap that we were trying to develop then, with all that background information as well, the first and maybe most basic need, it's quite simple, is set up a communication platform where you can share the information. Ensure that you have the right people around the table. and ensure that you have the different policy domains there, the different authority levels, and the different types of stakeholders. So these are people from academia, the industry, the healthcare, together with the policy makers and decision makers. And also don't forget to put the public, to have a communication platform where you can reach out to broader audiences. You also need to understand in your region and what is ongoing, what are the assets we have, what are the gaps and the barriers we are facing. And in every region, there will be different needs, different ambition levels, different capacities to proceed, and also the different authority levels are always coming back. A SWOT analysis, so an analysis of your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities that you want to reach, and the threats is an instrument that may be very helpful to understand this part of the work and to take it further into the development of your strategy. It is also then important to identify and make your ambitions explicit. What are the expected impacts you want to reach within a certain time frame? And linked to that, there's also the investments that will be needed there, is linked to that, ambitions and so on. So you need to identify ambitions on R&I level, research and innovation, or you want to proceed and have your personalized medicine take up in the healthcare system. So it's that the adoption in the healthcare environment is an extra ambition level, I think. And also you have to take into account the innovation capacity within the region to take things further. And a very powerful instrument, I think, in doing this is identify or make it explicit in your smart specialization strategy for research and innovation. This strategy should be building on the assets in the region and also ensure the creation of innovation value chains that go across the different policy domains and is based on the SWOT analysis, as I already tried to explain. In this way, with this smart specialization strategies, this allows to attract a mix of funding from the regional funds based on the cohesion policy, also from Horizon Europe, but also national, regional, and private funding instruments are important. And this can be, in the different steps in your innovation strategy, can be taken up there. It is important, this is also part of the goals in the Vanguard initiative, to design investment projects that attract this mix of funding. And this, joining the smart specialization partnerships or Vanguard initiatives, may be very helpful to take things further there on really the bringing new developments to the market and to society and the people. So when drawing your strategy and setting your ambition levels, you can choose either to focus more or only on developing research and innovation, because taking up in healthcare system is a step beyond. But when creating your R&I ecosystem, it is important to focus also, or identifying where you want to focus on. Do you want to put all your efforts on initiating a regional genomics initiative, longitudinal population studies, include also the access to data from clinically validated data, lifestyle, real-world data? And also you have to take into account that you want to move from basic research over translational research to clinical research to take things further. Also, investing in the research infrastructure in different needs, what you have there, is important. And when doing so, you have at each step to align the different policy domains that are involved. So it's not only research and innovation, but you come into the part of where you have to address public health issues, education, because the research and innovation has also the education part in it. Towards innovation, you come into the field of economy, and of course, everything is covered with a legal framework that should be taken into account. So these are things that you have to think of to bring all the pieces together to take things further and to create your research and innovation ecosystem. When you want to move further to the implementation of personalized medicine in a healthcare system, you also need to have supporting measures to ensure the absorption into the healthcare system. And that is not always so easy. So the ethical, legal, and social implications is an important part. But also the regulatory framework, and that has consequences in the reimbursement of the personalized medicine approaches that you want to have in your healthcare system. And what can be helpful is thinking of also making possible to develop demonstration and pilot projects in which you involve the healthcare system much more closely, the healthcare professionals, to allow them to get the new developments on the floor in the healthcare system. So, and again, focusing and aligning the different policy domains that I just explained is very important, and it becomes much more integrated the further you go. In the whole area, awareness, creating awareness and focusing on the skills of the future is also a very important part. And awareness is very important among the public. And why is that? Because if the public becomes aware of the possibility that personalized medicine can put forward, they will be demanding and they will help drive this personalized medicine forward. The same is true for healthcare professionals. If the awareness is there that a certain approaches on personalized medicine is accessible in one region or country and not in your own region or country, the demand will be there to also have it introduced there. And this demand goes to the policymakers. So policymakers and decision makers should also understand the opportunities and the transformative power that personalized medicine is in fact having. And of course, then the payers' reimbursements becomes part of this whole system. Skills of the future, I think that goes beyond discussion. There's this personalized medicine is really building on the massive amounts of data. The interpretation and artificial intelligence developments are very important, but it's not always straightforward to deal with all that. And so the focus on bringing the understanding to the professionals, but also to the people using it, to citizens that need to use wearables and sensors and so on, is a very important aspect. And then when you go to genetic information on your personal genetic background, counseling is one of the new jobs that is really needed there for the future. When we want to take things further, personalized medicine, as I already said, there is 3 strategies. The smart specialization strategies are fundamental there. It is fundamental to find complementarities among regions to start interactions and the development of investment projects based on interregional complementarities in an interregional context, and this is what also Vanguard Initiative is promoting. We also think that the European Partnership for Personalized Medicine will be a very powerful instrument to promote personalized medicine further. And that will include also the regional assets, and that should be an opportunity to bring the regional assets much more prominently forward. And recently, there's also the pilot action that started or is in preparation on regional innovation that has the same goals to enhance the coordination and the directionality of regional, national, and EU policies together to make progress in the innovation in the EU. And also in particular in personalized medicine, that could be a very instrumental part. The ERA hubs is also an issue that has been put forward in the ERA forum. Is also to try and enhance research and innovation ecosystems to improve excellence and competitiveness, and to ensure that different parts in Europe become more connected, bringing in, again, regional assets in the broader picture for interregional and pan-European collaboration. So this may also in the future turn out to be a powerful tool to step things up. And with that, the roadmap is on the USB stick you received. This is just an overview of the flowchart that is included there. So don't try to read it from here. But with that, I would like to thank you, and yeah, happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Thanks for the good sum up, Kathleen. One of the issues that comes up frequently when you look at the different funding regimes is the contrast between the funding models that require excellence and those that require cohesion. Did you look at that approach in the sort of roadmap and how you can try and align them so you get some continuity between the different investment programs?
Well, I think both angles are necessary, but it is true how to translate or how to bring results from the basic research forward. You need to design special tools, call it, where you try to design this. And so the development of demonstration projects and pilot projects, I think, will be instrumental. And for those, you need specially designed support programs. I think that this will become possible. This is also, we wrote it down also in the draft for the EP permit agenda, that this is a part that is really necessary. So yeah, I think there's work to do there, but it is something to develop further.
Thank you very much, Kathleen. Very interesting. A little bit following up on that, has there been any work now to promote equity across the various sub-regions or region across Europe, especially thinking of Jean-Luc's data that he showed about the distribution of the Horizon 2020 funding, naturally flowing, I guess, to some major centers and creating potentially some differences in access to innovation and better healthcare in other regions?
That is why we stressed also on identifying the ambition level and the capacities, because I think it's not necessary that every region tries to do the same things. Investing in a genomic program is expensive, and it doesn't have a straightaway return. But when doing it, you can develop new services around it. So this will be the trade-off for every region to design by itself. But that sort of thinking, strategic thinking, needs to be done. But there is no one way we can give the plan, but that is the strategic thinking that is needed. So.
Maybe a little bit along the same lines, and maybe also just a crazy idea. When you have been working your way through the different regions, you must also have identified kind of which region is good at what. So have you tried to combine your roadmap with a geographical roadmap so that you maybe could use the strength probably from the different regions?
We didn't do that, but we have a portfolio and the observatory on what regions are doing. We have been doing that, and Cynthia will present it just after me to give the overview of this observatory. We didn't link it to, well, yeah, of course you can see it on the map where these regions are, but there's no straight line to draw from that at this moment. So also when doing the survey, we noticed that how difficult it was to get the right information from the right people. And that is a very big challenge, and there's no solution. So that's why we also kept the survey open over the time and trying to improve it all the time. So I hope, and here's the call then, everyone is still allowed to give us more information. We will keep the website updated.
Yes, a short question now. With COVID, we have this concept of strategic autonomy, and this, in a certain way, may just collide with the concept of smart specialization. How do you address this in the roadmap? Because this is coming, and it's pretty new, in fact, in the force of the Commission in the European countries.
I don't think I follow completely what you, because we support the smart specialization approach and strategy design.
Yes, because I mean, if you specialize in a domain, but if you are very dependent on non-European countries or regions to get ahead with your specialization, this may have an impact at the end. I mean, it's a new way of thinking about in certain domains, you need to cover essential things.
Yeah, that will be part of the strategic thinking. So yeah, I think it shouldn't stop in the boundaries of a region, and the reach out to cross-border collaborations, I think is key to all innovations further on. So it's not because you recommend make your regional strategy that it should be focusing only on working within the region, but I think based on that, finding complementarities to develop new investment projects or creating new value chains is the way to go. So it should be cross-border. So, and with that, Cynthia will give you the overview of what she has been doing on making the observatory. Thank you.
So at SAPHIRE, we have been working on the roadmap, but also on the observatory and reports, which I will briefly present. So first, the observatory, you can find it on our website. The observatory, the idea is to have an overview per region with the personalized medicine activities in the region. So if you go on the website, you can choose a region and you have the picture of the region. So for example, here a Polish region. Actually, in the observatory, it's only answers we've got from a survey we have set up. And we've got 56 answers, so 56 different regions out of 25 countries in Europe, so it's all over Europe in the Great Lines. So general observations on the answers of the survey. It's really not easy to find the right person. So some things I just will repeat what Kathleen's just said, because there are some general remarks throughout the whole project. So, and it's partly due to the complexity of the competences, how they are organized in the different regions, in the different countries, and also the different competences involved even within a region. So, and all regions and all countries are organized on a different way, and it makes the exercise even complexer. So relating to personalized medicine, many things exist like projects, clusters, organizations, and so on, but people are not aware of it. And people want to collaborate, but they don't know each other. So even 1/3 of the persons who answered the survey had no idea if their own region is or was a member of a personalized medicine network, association, or cluster. So we took also a look at the regional research and innovation strategies for the smart specialization, first for the previous period and also for the actual period. But a lot of regions are still in the update process of these strategies. But for the regions that have updated the strategies, actually their priorities haven't changed drastically. So in most of their strategies, personalized medicine or personalized health is a priority. Personalized medicine here is not taken really literally. It can be targeted medicine, stratified, precision, tailor-made, or so on. So health and well-being were already important topics in the previous period, but are even more important now. COVID and the elderly population in Europe are certainly two important factors there. So we could also see that 10 regions have specific personalized medicine policy documents. So if we take a look at the updated regional strategies, we have found 67 updated strategies, of which 70% has personalized medicine as a priority. Next to that, 21% has health as a priority, and only 9% has no personalized medicine nor health priority. It's more than agriculture or food or something like that. So we found also 5 national updated strategies, and of which 3 had personalized medicine as a priority and 2 health as a priority. So next to the observatory, SAPHIRE also generated other reports, which I will briefly present so you know what you can find and where. So first, a new regional report has been created. Actually, it's broader than the observatory because there we also made some desktop research. So we tried to gather all personalized medicine related information. So it's more than 56 regions. We have there 206 regions. This new regional report is not on the website yet, but it's on the USB sticks you have got in your bags. So first, the report starts with overall information like innovation performance, population density, total population, the proportion of the population older than 65 years old, and if the region is remote mountain or island, because we think these are key elements to take into account if the region wants to implement personalized medicine. So next to that, the strategies we have found for the actual period and for the previous period. We've tried also to make an overview of personalized medicine related best practices, first in the own regions, then some interregional collaborations, the biobanks and genomic initiatives, personalized medicine policies and funding programs. Next to that also an overview of the personalized medicine related stakeholders in the region, and if the region is member of some personalized related cluster or network. So next to that, we have some other reports you can find on the website. Just very briefly, first some personalized medicine initiatives. You can find it on the website just under the observatory. It's an overview of personalized medicine in regions. Then some other initiatives, because we think also, even if it's broader than just personalized medicine, it can be interesting for a region to be part of some broader networks. Also some geographical information, as SAPHIRE has a special focus on the remote and sparsely populated regions, but also geographically, so that regions can see how they can interact geographically. Then we had a second survey on the organization of the personalized medicine related competences in regions and in countries in Europe. There we had 16 answers from 10 different countries. So, and these answers, you can find it also on the website. And there, the observations are that it's really complex. Each country is organized on a different way. And many countries have at least partial regional responsibilities. It could be either for research and innovation, either healthcare, either both, and or education. Sorry. So it's really, really complex. And that's, we try to have an overview, and it's not that easy. So last but not least, some other reports that could be interesting, like overview of international, interregional projects, but not per region, but per project. So first, general concluding remarks on the reports themselves. So they are certainly limited, non-exhaustive, and subjective. They are based on the surveys and on desktop research. So we have been working on NUTS levels and not on organizations. And we have been working mainly on NUTS 2 level because it's the level used for the application of the regional policies. But at SAPHIRE, we have decided to take also some other levels into account, depending on the country, how the competences are organized, and also on the size of the country. So some were or are on country level because they are too little to be split up in regions. For some federal countries like Belgium and Germany, we took the NUTS 1 level because the regions in Belgium or the landers in Germany have some specific competences. And we took also the decision for Sweden, Finland, and Czech Republic to work on NUTS 3 level, as the counties in Sweden and Finland and Kres in Czech Republic have some competences health related, or it's at that level that they submit smart specialization strategy. So we have been working only on European regions and associated countries. We took a broad acceptance of personalized medicine because, for example, some regions give their own best practice example on e-health, digital health, and so on. You don't have to forget that a report is a picture at a certain point of time, so maybe some links can be outdated. We are still working on the update of these lists and reports, certainly till the end of the project. So it was and it is difficult to have the survey's answers. So I would like to thank here all the persons who have answered the surveys to help us to understand the complexity of and the problem. So, and what we have already said, it's really difficult to find the right person. So some last concluding general remarks. A lot is going on in Europe, but it's very fragmented. So it's difficult to be on the right competence level. And it's difficult to have all the competences involved in personalized medicine aligned just within a region or within a NETS level. But it's also difficult to have all the competences aligned across different levels. And we are working on regions, but it's important to take into account the other levels also, because the regional initiatives are not standalone. They have to be embedded in the other levels. So SAPHIRE highlighted the importance of interregional collaborations and networks. And we demonstrated also that it is possible to gather this fragmented information, but it's really time-consuming and is an ongoing exercise. So that was my part. Thank you for your attention. And if you have some questions, I'm happy to hear them.
Thank you. One comment and one question. The slide came up very quickly, and you listed many cross-border Interreg programs. I didn't see my favorite program, Interreg Europe. Perhaps it was there somewhere. But
yeah, you will find it actually in the complete regional report you have on your okay. USB sticks.
Perhaps just worth mentioning the idea behind the Interreg Europe program. It enables regions from north, south, east, west to cooperate. So it also helps you, I think, tackle one of the problems you identified is mapping those different competencies. As you said, you know, German regions have different competencies from French, from Belgium. So I think that's for the future, you know, Interreg Europe new program has been launched. You could look at that. There's a good practice database. You mentioned one of the projects on your things. There's an interesting search engine. And the question is, in terms of all of these S3 strategies, someone may have put personalized medicine, and then what's interesting, I think, behind what type of indicators do they use to demonstrate whether they are going to achieve whatever strategy? So have you looked at the indicators that are behind the S3 strategies?
Not actually. I've been looking in the strategies. But in the updating process, they are really in a co-creating process where they're looking at, and they start with the stakeholders in place and with a SWOT analysis. And they try to have all these measures, but I've not been looking till what they have done actually.
It's a challenging subject.
Yeah, it's another challenge.
Thank you. I'm impressed by all the work you've done, and my concern is that we don't lose all this information because we are at the end of SAPHIRE. So what about sustainability?
It is actually the website will be live for 2 more years. So we hope 2 years, and then we are thinking of what we are going to do with it. But it's a process that actually is ongoing, and regions are still working on it, and so every day you have new projects or best practices and so on. So, but it's time consuming to have it up to date.
Thank you. I have a question about the methodology, because you said that some regions include health, but not personalized medicine in the description, but maybe personal medicine is somehow hidden in this concept
So
of health.
I've been looking actually personalized medicine, and then I look a broader look. So the ones mentioned only health, they don't mention personalized medicine. So they mention well-being or health, or they are more than maybe on the elderly population, but not personalized medicine as such.
So then they are not considered in your study.
They are just considering some other topics of health.